This has got to be the strangest scenario I've ever experienced in my professional mechanic life. This is really weird. Let's get started. I really love Land Rovers, especially the Discovery I and the Discovery II. That's one of the reasons why I took on this job, because I really like these vehicles. I don't like this one, this particular one, but I like them in general. We typically like to work on 2000 and newer vehicles now. We've gotten out of the older vehicles pretty much. This one definitely falls in that range, being that it's a 2004 Land Rover Discovery II with the 4.6 liter V8. This customer lives in upstate New York. They called us and said, hey, I've got this Land Rover. It has a no start issue. If I shipped it to you, can you figure out why it won't start? I said, yeah, go ahead and ship it here. We should be able to take care of that for you. So when this arrived on the shipping truck, we rolled it off and I could hear the brakes just crunching. It was so much rust. And I started looking around it. From a distance, it doesn't look so bad. Actually, when it rolled up on the truck, I saw it. Hey, there's the Land Rover. I didn't really think much of it. I started realizing there's a lot more to this story. Something's going on here that I've not been told. So let's go take a look around. So the front is not so bad, but you can tell the hood is faded really bad. The paint is peeling off. And really that doesn't tell so much that it's in bad shape. But let's go ahead and take a look through the wheel wells at the brakes. Look at that caliper, guys. It looks like a sea crustacean. It looks like it was pulled out of a lake. The brakes, like I said, were making horrible noises. It almost wouldn't roll off the truck. It was so rusted shut. As we go down the side, you can see that it doesn't look so bad. Like I mentioned from the road, it didn't look so bad on the truck. So the body's not really in bad shape. And we go to the back, it actually still looks clean there as well. It looks decent. This has been broken or crunched or something here. And as we come around to the passenger side, we can also see that there has been a piece of glass replaced up here. You can see the tape. That corroborates with the customer's story that we'll go over a little bit more here in a minute. So let's go ahead and open the bonnet. Since it's an English vehicle made in England, it is called a bonnet. So let's go ahead and get that opened. So here you can see under the bonnet kind of the picture I saw when I first opened it. All of the aluminum is severely corroded, like it's been soaked in water for who knows how long. Every single bolt is completely rusted. Even the brackets are solid rust. If we look at the pulleys, you can see right here the alternator pulley and all the pulleys in there are just completely coated in severe rust. One thing I also noticed when we opened the bonnet is that the coolant reservoir is empty. There's no coolant in this engine. And when we did try to at least turn it over a little bit with a jump starter just to see does it even turn or does it do anything, the engine sounded uneven and I could hear rust in the cylinders. I go, ugh, ugh. It sounded really bad. So we just stopped there, and the next thing I said, you know what? I bet the gas in this gas tank is completely no good. So let's go back to the fuel filler and take a smell. I'm glad you guys can't smell anything through the camera here because it is really bad. We all know when gasoline sits for more than 3 to 5 years, it actually turns into a type of a varnish. And if it sits longer than that, it can actually turn into a solid and ruin the entire fuel system from the front bumper to the rear bumper. Everything in the fuel system in this vehicle is completely ruined. When I took this cap off, you can just smell it. And it's, oh God, guys, it's bad. It smells like an old tractor or something with the gasoline that's been sitting in it since 1978. It is so strong. I'm gonna put the lid back on it. I can smell it now. It's so bad. Let's head on into the interior.
So, well, ladies, gents, there's a reason I'm not giving us a typical tour review because I'm not even in the car. And let me tell you, I love Land Rovers of this era. We had a 97 Discovery and it was one of my favorites, one that I wish we still had, but not in this condition. This mold is on everything, every surface inside this vehicle. When the wizard mentioned that the window had been replaced, not soon enough. It coated everything. Can't turn it on, battery's dead, so we have no idea how many miles it has. As we move up, you can see that the wood trim is in not the best of condition. It's peeling off in so many different directions. It's not pretty. And basically the dash is not cracked, so there is a plus to this. One of the Land Rovers we've had in our day, it would look like, you know, Grand Canyon. But as we move around, you can see the seats less than pretty. As we look here, we can see at our parking brake that the cloth is coated, absolutely just coated in mold. As I move to the back seat, reaching through, I can see lots of mold on those seats as well. And as we're getting closer to that back area where that window is out, you can see there's just even more mold sitting there, especially in the spot right in front of it. As we move up, the headliner is, well, you can see back there a ways, it's not pretty. So that definitely would have to be addressed, definitely need to be replaced in addition to all of the mold. So as close as I can get to that window back there, the back door is not working because it is kind of an automatic kind of a door, but and the battery's dead. But you can see that there's water running, has run down that back area there. Definitely not a good look. As we scroll over here, we can see a lot more going on in that seat. And door cards, everything is coated. So this is not just a simple, let's wipe it down with some Clorox, bleach, and call it good. I can't imagine what's under in all the little parts and crevices throughout the vehicle. So that's what it's like on the inside looking from the side. Let's see what the wizard has to say.
So as you saw, the entire interior is infested with this white fungus. Actually had Danielson and Magic Mike hop on this truck to get this thing off the truck. We knew nothing about how bad this vehicle was, so actually had one of them hop in and try to see if the key turns or anything, and they instantly started having a very severe coughing attack. And I kind of looked out there and I literally ran out of the shop and I said, what's going on? And I looked inside and I seen all the fungus and I said, get out. I said, get out of the vehicle. They said, what? I said, get out. And I slammed the door. I said, I don't want you to get very sick. You could have to go to the hospital by breathing in these mold spores and things. And also, as Mrs. Wizard mentioned, that it's all over the seat, you have to keep in mind, you can't wipe it off. This is growing into the foam of the seat. It is deep. This entire interior is infested with health hazard level of fungus. It's bad. So let's get this thing up in the air. I haven't even looked underneath yet. Let's see how bad it is under there. All right, let's take a look underneath this crustacean of a vehicle. Well, I can see some rust right there. Some pretty gnarly stuff is all, yeah, whole chunks are coming off. This did come from New York, so there's probably going to be quite a bit of rust. The brakes, like I said, they would need to be completely redone. The guide pins are seized up. I've already checked that. You can see the pins here. They're rusted solid. It would need new brackets, new calipers. I wouldn't even trust these lines, these flexible hoses. They're so rusted. New pads, new rotors. Same story over here. You can see the rust on this dust shield. It's just flaking off. Wow, even that ball joint is rust all growing up inside of it. It would need ball joints. The engine is not leaking a whole lot, but there's definitely something wrong inside of it based on what we heard when it cranked over. It was very, very bad. Here's our transmission. Everything looks okay there. We come back to the back. Here's our transfer case, the exhaust. It's all very, very rusty under here. It is, in some places, is not so bad, but in other places, it is very, very bad. These things are all yucky, dry rotted. Look at this shield, guys. I can punch holes in it. Crusty. Go back here. You can see these hose clamps. They used to have a hex-shaped nut, like 5/16, and they've corroded so badly that it's just a blob. So I know from experience, any work on this vehicle underneath is going to be broken bolts on top of more broken bolts and more broken bolts, which equates to hours and hours of labor. So this is going to be very, very expensive to fix this thing. All the tires are all mismatched, and the newest tire is 2013. The others are even older than that. Let's take a look. And on the inside of this tire, you can see right here, 2011. So far it needs an engine rebuild because there's something crunching really bad inside of it. The entire brake system, the entire fuel system, all 4 tires, and a complete interior redo. Let's get it back on the ground. So as much as I want to like this vehicle, I can't. It is really that far gone. The customer mentioned it was garage kept before it left her house, and then it sat at some shop for a couple of years, and then it made its way here. What happened exactly between it leaving her house and getting here, I don't know the full story, and I probably never will, but a lot of things don't add up. If it only sat at a shop for a couple of years, what did it do the last 8? So one of the things I really noticed is that the registration is lapsed in 2013. The newest tire on here is 2013. So something happened in 2013 and this vehicle stopped being used for a number of years. The amount of rust, the engine damage, the mold, some of these things I'm seeing don't happen in 2 years. It takes 10. So her engine wouldn't start. That was her original complaint from who knows how far back. And now we know something died inside of the engine. And that was the first step in all of this catastrophe that we see. The battery is only 2 years old from 2020 on here. It has had a piece of glass replaced, and I think that's all they did. Whatever shop that was at before, they probably came to the same realization that we have here. So I don't know that the customer even knows it's as bad as it is. For whatever state it was in when it left her possession, it has gone severely downhill ever since then. We called the customer and said, it's going to be at least 8 to 10 grand to get this thing rolling and safe again, or more. It could escalate even higher to 15 or more from there. So once we revealed to the customer just how bad this car is and gave her all the details, I'm going to let you guys do the little guessing game here. I'm going to put out 3 choices and see if you can figure out how did she react. Did she A, completely blow up and lose her mind and curse us out? No muffler Newton, thank you. Did she B, say she's going to have it towed out of here and go to a different shop because she doesn't believe what we're saying is accurate? Or was it C, she said, I don't care what it costs, I want my vehicle running? I'll let you guys post in the comment what you think it is.
Okay, Car Wizard, you're just full of crap.
Full of crap?
Yes, tell them the truth.
Yes, I am. This is what makes this such the strangest scenario. Not so much that it arrived completely misrepresented, But once we provided all this information where we were expecting some resistance, some blowback from the customer, we were prepared to have to fight this out. But that's not what happened at all. All she said was, I'll send you the title. Can you junk it for me? Just make it go away. Like, you just paid what, I don't know, $1,000 or more, $2,000 to ship this here, and you want me to just junk it? She's like, yeah, I'll send you the title, make it go away. I guess I kind of see her point. It's cheaper than shipping it back all the way to New York for what? What are you going to do with it? So this is the first time, and also one of the strangest things I've ever experienced in the shop, is to get a vehicle in, and then it's so bad, and then they say, can you ship it to the salvage yard for me? Bro, that is so weird. Junk it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait for the title to show up. She's going to send it. We are going to get some money out of selling this car to salvage, and we're going to send her that money to be nice, because I feel bad for this situation. But this is just really weird. This kind of reminds me of so many times I've seen this scenario as far as cars being too far gone. If you get a car that something catastrophic happens to it and it needs to be repaired, you need to make quick decisions. I know it's expensive. I know you may not have the money at that time to fix the broken engine or whatever else went wrong with it. And you think, I'll just park it for 6 months and I'll kind of work up the money and get it fixed. Time gets away from you. We've got Christmas, New Year's coming, and then we're into 2023. A lot of people don't recollect how much time has passed. They'll say it's been a year, it's been 2 years. And then you dig in to find out exactly what has happened. It's been 10. And people are surprised at themselves. They go to look at the data, they look at the paperwork, and they're like, you're right. I never realized so much time went by. Oh my God. So don't let the time get away from you. Find a way to get it fixed, or maybe you can get a loan for the money. I don't know, whatever your situation is. Or it's possible you may just have to sell it at a loss and cut your losses and be done, if that's the case, how it turns out. But if you let it sit for 6, 8, 10 years, the cost that it would have taken to fix it has now quadrupled or quintupled. Now you definitely are not going to fix it. And now you can't sell it for even what you could have sold it for 8 years ago. So this is a good lesson in that, to help you guys understand what happens when you let cars sit for too long. And also a story to share with you guys how crazy this is. So after we're done filming here, it's going away. All the way from New York to a Kansas salvage yard. Weird. So if you're curious what kind of tools we use on other cars in the shop, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button, because there's many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching.